Good evening to all. Welcome to this 22nd online lecture of the course Computational Fluid Dynamics. In the previous lecture, we have talked about the treatment of boundary conditions with higher order schemes in order to meet the desired order of accuracy throughout the entire domain. Okay. So while discussing I told you that TVD schemes are having accuracy equivalent to that of the quick scheme. However, by considering the TVD schemes, we will not be finding any oscillations in our solution, whatever we were initially getting with the quick scheme. Okay, so I was plotting the solution. Let me once again show the final solution. So what I was having phi equal to say some value. I was having say phi equal to 1 or 100, whatever I was having, some value I was having, actually some higher value. Okay, and this side I was having x, and this x was measured along a dash, and here I was having value equal to 0. So up to certain distance value was 1. Then if we follow the exact solution, value was actually becoming 0. So this was our exact solution. Okay, then we have also seen that with the upwind differencing scheme, our solution was something like this. So this was the solution using upwind differencing scheme when we are having grid size as 50 by 50. Okay, and we saw with quick scheme the solution was very close to the exact, but with quick scheme we were having some oscillations into our solution. Okay, so this was with quick scheme, and that too with the grid size of 50 by 50. Now I told you that instead of the quick, we have actually gone for total variation diminishing class of schemes, and by considering different limiter functions, we have tried to obtain the values using TVD scheme. So let me now plot the TVD result over here. So if I show you the TVD result, that curve will almost mimic our quick plot. However, in case of quick, we are having certain oscillations over here, and it will be having smooth transition. Okay, so TVD schemes will be having smooth transition over here. Okay, and if you compare two flux limiter functions using the TVD scheme, so one of the flux limiter function is say Van Leer and another is Van Alvada. So using these two flux limiter functions, people have like researchers have found solution very close to that of the quick solution, but it is having smooth transition without any oscillations. Okay, and as such we also concluded that among different flux limiter functions, we are not having very specific advantages and disadvantages of one over the another. So because of this, we are not having very stringent guidelines towards the selection of the flux limiter function. So this is something which is actually depending upon someone's choice, that which kind of function one is taking care of, and it may also happen that depending upon the physics of the problem, some flux limiter functions may perform better. Okay, so this is all about the higher order TVD schemes, and till now, whatever the discussion we have done here, we have talked about transport of some scalar quantity phi by considering the convective and diffusive modes of transportation, and we consider that velocity field, density field, and viscosity, all these values are actually known to us. Okay, so these are not changing or fluctuating within the domain. Okay, so these values we consider that already we are knowing these values, but while we will be entering into the actual physical situation, we will not always be having the solution for the density and the velocity field. Okay, so if we are not having the solution of density and velocity field, what we have to do alongside the transport of phi, we have to also estimate the values of velocity and density field. Okay, so when we have to estimate the values for velocity and density field, what we have to do, we have to use the corresponding equations. For example, while we are talking about transport of the scalar quantity, we are discussing the scalar transport equation. Okay. Now, if we are interested in finding out the solution for velocity, for pressure, for density, then we have to use the corresponding appropriate equations. Okay. So now, can you tell me what will be the appropriate equations if we have to find out the solution of density and the velocity field? What will be the equations? Can you tell me? Please tell me.
Sir, continuity equation, Navier-Stokes equation, and one relation for density and pressure.
Yes.
And one for energy.
Yeah. So what we have to do, let us first talk about the Navier-Stokes equations. Okay. And these Navier-Stokes equations, first we will try to see by considering the simplified situation of two-dimensional flow. Okay. So if we talk about two-dimensional flow, we will be having one continuity equation, and the generic continuity equation will be something like this: del by del x of rho u plus del by del y of rho v equal to 0. What will be the corresponding momentum equation along with 2D? Let us consider that we are having steady flow situation also. Okay, so 2D as well as steady flow are the assumptions which we are considering. Okay. So what will be my x momentum equation? Can you tell me? So my x momentum will be del by del x of rho u into u plus del by del y of rho u into v. Okay. And what will be there in the right hand side? Minus del p by del x plus del by del x of mu times del u by del x plus del by del y of mu times del u by del y. Okay. Is this equation correct? Please say yes or no.
Sir, there is a lambda term.
Yes.
So lambda term, what we are considering actually, we are
Stokes happen.
Yeah, after applying the Stokes hypothesis, whatever the final Navier-Stokes form of equations we are getting, that I am writing over here. Okay.
Sir, but I think even for it we need to have like divergence of velocity is equal to 0.
Sorry, divergence of velocity equal to
0.
Yeah, so continuity equation has to satisfy. Yes.
Okay, sir.
So we will be putting that assumption also now. Okay. Plus del by del y of rho vv equal to minus del p by del y plus del by del x of mu times del v by del x plus del by del y of mu times del v by del y. Okay. So these are the three equations we are having at the moment. I am not talking about energy equation. Okay. I am considering only the flow condition. So what we are having, you can see over here in these Navier-Stokes equations, this particular term on the left hand side is nothing but represents the convective part. Okay. And this term on the right hand side is actually representing the diffusion term, and this pressure over here is actually becoming part of the say some source term, and in this source term specifically we are over here referring this as nothing but our pressure term. Okay. So it means apart from having the simplified set of equations, now we are having few complexities over here, because earlier what we did, we considered that our velocity field and density field are a priori known to us. Okay. But in reality that will not be the situation. So what we have to do, we have to find out the solution for the density as well as the velocity field. Okay. So now there are a few challenges over here. So let me list the different challenges. So can you tell me what is the issue with the convective term? In the convective term, we are having, you can see over here, u into u, u into v, u, v, v, v. So both these parameters, now we are considering that we are not having the prior knowledge about the velocity and the density field. So if we are not having prior knowledge, it means this both u and u are nothing but unknown. So if we are having two unknowns in multiplication, it means our convective term is nothing but non-linear. Okay, so what we are having in our convective term, we are having presence of non-linearity. This is the first challenge. The second part is, if you go to momentum equation, in the momentum equation we are having some additional term, and that term we are writing as del p by del x in x momentum and del p by del y in y momentum. Okay, so we are having some additional pressure term. Okay, so we are having additional pressure term. If this gradient of pressure is once again a priori known, then our solution will become very, very easy, because how to handle non-linearity, that I have told you earlier also. So we are having some ways for dealing with non-linearity, but we are not knowing the way of finding out this gradient of pressure. Okay, so for finding out this gradient of pressure, what we can do, as I told you, that if we are having, say, already known gradient of pressure, then I have to simply substitute value of this gradient over here. Okay, so when I will be substituting only the value, it will be becoming some fixed number, constant number over here, and then I can easily find out the solution for other two equations, because then it is becoming almost similar to that of our convection diffusion equation for scalar. Okay, but this important challenge over here is that this pressure will not be always known. Okay, so this pressure term we are having additional pressure term, this additional pressure term is also actually unknown over here. So we have to estimate this unknown term also. Okay, third important point, you can see whatever our dependent variables are there. So what are the dependent variables? Can you tell me? One dependent variable is rho, another is u, then we are having v and p. So these are our different dependent variables over here. Okay, and out of these you can see u and v are some dependent parameters which are actually moreover rho also. These three are actually appearing in each of the equation. Okay, so u, rho and v are in x momentum, y as well as in continuity equation. So all the unknown parameters or the dependent variables are actually participating simultaneously in all the equations. Okay, so it means I can say that the equations are coupled. So equations are coupled over here. So if we are having coupled equations, we have to simultaneously find out the solution of all these equations, then only we will be able to find out all these unknowns. Okay, so now there are different ways of dealing this unknown pressure term, considering the compressible and incompressible nature of the fluid. Okay, so compressible part is actually not at the moment, we are not considering it as part of our syllabus. So if later on, after completing our syllabus, we are having time, then probably we will try to see some of the minute details about the compressible part also. But at the moment, I will just brief you about the compressible part, and then I will jump directly to the incompressible part in detail, which is actually part of our syllabus. Okay, but let me just talk about in general sense. So in general sense, like depending upon whether our flow situation is compressible or incompressible, we have to employ the different solution techniques. Okay, so if our flow situation is compressible, in that case, density field I can find out from my continuity equation. So the solution of continuity equation will be helping us in finding the value of density field, and u and v I will be able to find out from the solution of the momentum equation. Okay, when we are having compressible flow situation, then density will be function of our field parameter. So density will be function of pressure and temperature. So obviously what we have to do when we are having a compressible flow situation, then continuity and momentum equation will not be sufficient. We have to also find out temperature field. So we have to find out additional field temperature, and that additional field temperature I can find out from the solution of the energy equation. So once I have found out the variation of density and the variation of temperature, then I can employ equation of state. Okay, so over here I can simply employ the equation of state for finding pressure. So for finding out the pressure in case of compressible situation, I can simply employ the equation of state once I am knowing about the variation of density and temperature inside my entire flow field. Okay, and density variation I can find out from my continuity equation, and for temperature I have to additionally solve the energy equation. Okay, so this is how, like, this is the overall idea how we can find out the unknown additional pressure term into our equations if we are having compressible flow situation. Okay, if we are having incompressible flow situation, in that case what will be happening? Density will be actually getting omitted from our continuity equation. So we can omit density, we can take it out the derivative because it is a constant parameter. So if it is constant throughout the field, now it means we are not having the dependence of fluid properties on the pressure. So now if we are not having dependence of fluid parameters on pressure, it means pressure is only directly related to velocity field. So in this situation, now what we will be having? We will be having the relation of pressure. So we will be having the relation of pressure with nothing but our velocity field. Okay, so we have to devise the appropriate ways in order to find out the relation of this pressure with our velocity field. So that will be one important consideration which we have to do. Okay, how we will be doing this, the details I will be telling you. But in this type of situation, what happens? We actually calculate u and v from our momentum equation. So estimation of u and v we will be doing from the momentum equation. And what we will be doing, we have to estimate the pressure from which equation? Pressure will be estimated from the continuity equation. Okay, so there are some approximations which are provided by different scientists, which couples actually the pressure with velocity. And upon coupling these pressure and velocity, while we will be substituting these relations into our continuity equation, that continuity equation finally will be converting into a complete pressure equation. And with that pressure equation, actually, we will be able to find out the value of pressure. So how we will be doing that, we will be discussing in detail. Okay. This up to this point, whatever I want to convey, I am conveying over here. Is it okay? Are you able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us a little bit go into more details. So what I will be doing now, I will now convert these equations. So now when I have written these equations, this is nothing but now in the generalized form. So it is applicable for both compressible as well as the incompressible situation. Now I will be taking the assumption that density is constant. So once I consider that density is constant, my equation will be becoming something, it will be taking some another form, some more simplified form. So let me directly write that simplified form. So can you convert this equation from this form to some another simplified form, which we call as nothing but non-conservative form of the equation, once we take this assumption of density equal to constant? Can you convert? So now I will consider that we are having incompressible flow, and in this incompressible flow I will be having now the assumption of constant density as valid assumption. Okay, and let us consider that viscosity of the fluid is also constant over here. Okay, so now Can you tell me what will be continuity equation? What will be the form of continuity equation?
Divergence of u is equal to 0.
Yes, del u by del x plus del v by del y equal to 0. This is my continuity equation. What about x momentum? U times del u by del x plus v times del u by del y will be equal to minus del p by del x plus mu times del square u by del x square plus del square del square u by del y square, and over here I will be finding minus 1 by rho with pressure term and here mu by rho. Is this point clear? This equation is correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about y momentum? Please tell me y momentum. It will be
Sir, u del v by del y, del x, sorry, u del v by del x plus
yes,
v del v by del y
yes,
is equal to minus 1 by rho into del p by del y
yes,
plus mu by rho bracket del square v by del square u by del x square v plus and del square. Yes, sir.
okay. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we are having this form of equation, and what we have to do, we are having one trouble, that how to estimate this pressure over here. Okay, so for estimating this pressure, like we can employ two approaches. One approach is we can devise some way to completely eliminate pressure term. Okay, and second thing, we have to find out relation between pressure and velocity. Is this point clear? So one thing is that we can try two approaches. So the very first approach is we can devise some way where we are completely removing the pressure term from our governing equation. And in the second approach, we have to find out some relationship in between pressure and velocity. Okay, so let us now try to see one by one each approach, and then list their different limitations and what are the possibilities for relating pressure and velocity, for finding out basically pressure gradient terms over here. Okay, so let me first take the first term. So first approach says what we have to do. First approach says we have to devise some way to eliminate the pressure term. Okay, so this elimination of the pressure term we can do, and while we will be doing this elimination of pressure term, we will be finding some new governing equation, and that will be in the form of our stream function and vorticity field. Okay, and the method which is used, which actually we employ for finding out the solution using this first approach, that we call as nothing but our stream function and stream function vorticity method. Okay, so this is the approach which helps us in elimination of eliminating our pressure term from the governing equations. Okay, so now can you tell me, say if I consider psi as my stream function and vorticity as symbol omega, can you tell me how psi is related to the velocity field? So u will be nothing but del psi by
Del y
and v will be
minus del psi by del x.
okay. What about omega vorticity field? For two-dimensional situation, we will be having vorticity in the z direction. So that vorticity, that will be actually normal to the plane. So that vorticity will be nothing but del v by
del x minus del u by del y.
del u by del y. And once I substitute this formulation of v and u over here, I will be finally finding my vorticity field as nothing but minus del square psi by del x square minus del square psi divided by del y square, and I can simply say minus of del square psi by del x square plus del square psi by del y square. Okay. Now what I will do, let me consider that my x momentum equation is say equation number 1, y momentum equation is say equation number 2. Okay. Now what I will do, I will differentiate first equation number 1 with del by del y. Okay. So what I will be doing, equation number 1 I will differentiate with del by del y. Now can you tell me what I will be getting after differentiation? Please tell me what I will be getting. Have I written it correctly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then for the second term,
So del v by del y into del u by del y, then
into del u by del y.
del
Okay.
y, then plus v del square v by del x del y.
Okay. In the right hand side,
Minus 1 by root del square p by del x del y
okay.
plus
Mu
mu
by
by-
rho I can write mu.
mu. Yes, sir. Del
Okay.
del q u by del x square del y.
Okay.
Then plus mu del q u by del y cube.
By
Del y cube.
okay. What about
Sir.
second question?
Sir, v into del square u by dx dy. Sir,
Where you are saying?
sir, fourth, sir, v into d square v by dx dy.
Yeah, this I have written, na? So here what will be?
Here u, sir, v d square u by dx
Okay,
dy.
okay, yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, in place of v, it will be u. Yes. Okay. And now other things are correct.
Yes, sir.
Now we will be doing del by del x of equation number 2. So if I do del by del x of equation number 2, what I will be getting? Please tell me. Is it correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. dx dy.
Dx. Is it dx dy
Del
or
x dy.
Del x square.
Del square.
Del x square.
it will be dx square?
Yes.
Okay, and here this mistake is also there then in the previous one. This has to be over here
Del y square.
del y square. Okay. Okay, now tell me what will be the next term? Del v by
Del x into del v by del y.
del v by del y plus v times del square
V
By
divided
del
by
x del.
del x del y.
that will be equal to minus 1 by rho del square p divided by del x del y plus mu times del cube v divided by
del x cube.
Del x
Cube.
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 Del x cube.
Del x
Yes, sir.
cube, sir.
Yes, sir. Del S cube, sir.
Plus del cube b
Plus del
divided by
cube V.
del x del y square.
Del cube u or v?
The
V, sir. Del x with del y square.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we have got, say this first one, let us number it as now equation number 3, and the second one, let us number it as equation number 4. Now let us do 4 minus 3. So if I do 4 minus 3, what I will be getting? Upon doing 4 minus 3, what I will be getting? Please tell me. What I will get? In the first term, are you finding any common term?
Yes, sir. Del u by del x.
So del u by del x is common. Inside I will be getting del v by del x minus
Del U by del Y.
del u by del y. Okay. Then in the second term, I will be finding plus u into, is there anything common? Please tell me.
Sir, del square v by dx square minus del square u dx divided by dx dy.
Minus del square u divided by dx
dy.
dy. Okay. Then what else I am having?
V will be the
Here is there anything common?
Del V by del Y.
Del v by del y.
So del v by del y is common. In what I will be getting?
Sir, del v by del x minus del u by del y.
Minus del u by
Del y.
del y. Okay. What about pressure? Then we are having one more term. Yes. Plus
v.
v into del square v divided by del x del y minus.
Del square u by del y square.
Okay. Then in the right hand side, what I will be getting? Pressure term will be cancelling out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mu times del cube v divided by del x cube plus del cube v divided by del x del y square. Okay. And minus del cube u divided by del x square del y minus del cube u divided by del y cube. Okay. So now can you relate these some of the terms to your continuity equation? Can you relate different terms to continuity equation? Okay. First, what I can write for the this term del v by del x minus del u by del y.
Vorticity.
So I can write omega times del u by del x as the first term. This point is clear. Plus
Yes, sir.
u times, here if I take
Yes.
del by del x
By del
common,
x common.
what I will be getting inside?
So del v by del x minus del u by del y.
So that is nothing but our omega.
Vorticity. Yes,
So I
sir.
can write second term as u times del omega by del x. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
what about third term?
Sir, del v by del y plus del v by del y into vorticity.
Omega into del v by del y. Then what about the next term?
Plus
v
v
del omega by del.
del by del y omega. Del omega y.
Okay. Then in the right hand side, what I will be getting? Now you see over here, if you first relate your V, this del cube V by del x cube and del cube U by del x square, what you will be finding? You take del by del x common from these two terms. So if you take del by del x square common, you will be finding inside vorticity.
Yes, sir.
Here, in these two terms, if you take common as del by del x square, inside it will be vorticity.
Yes, sir.
So I can write del square omega by del x square. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then if I relate these two and take del by del y square common, once again I will be getting same thing.
Yes, sir.
So del square omega by del y square. Okay. Now what I will be doing, I will be doing the substitutions of u and v with our psi. So what I will get if I substitute with psi? U is nothing but del psi by del y. So it will be omega times del square psi divided by del x del y. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Plus del psi by del y into del omega by del x minus omega into del square psi by del x del y, okay, minus del psi by del x into del omega by del y, and in the right hand side already I am having equation in the form of omega, so which is del square omega by del x square plus del square omega by del y square. So from our two momentum equations, once we have applied some of the manipulations in terms of stream function and vorticity field, we have found a single equation actually which is coupling our both the momentum equations. Okay, so from both the momentum equations I have found nothing but a single equation, and this single equation is obtained in such a fashion so that it is avoiding the presence of which term? Pressure term, which was actually creating some issue while finding the numerical solution. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Yes,
But we have not yet talked about one more equation. Which equation is left?
So continuity.
Okay, so what is continuity equation? Del u by
del u by del x plus del u by del y is called
has to be equal to 0. So now let us substitute the u and v in terms of psi. So what I will be getting?
Sir, that has already been satisfied while considering
Yes.
stream
Del
function.
square psi by del x del y, and here I will get minus del square psi by del x del y. So these two will be cancelling out and automatically becoming 0. So it means if we are using this transformation of stream function and vorticity field over here, it is helping us in automatically satisfaction of the continuity equation, and instead of three equations we have come up with only a single equation for which we have to find out the solution, and this single equation is also not involving our additional pressure term actually, which was creating the issue while finding out the numerical solution. Okay, so this is one of the approach. Now over here you have got different field variables, del square psi by del y square in terms of del omega by del x. So now using these different field variables and considering this particular equation, you can easily find out the solution. Okay, and once you have obtained the values of psi and omega, then you can actually transform it back into the pressure field. Okay, is this into velocity field? Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the one approach where like we can eliminate pressure term from our governing equations. But if you see over here, we are having one biggest limitation of this particular method. Can you tell me what is the limitation of this one? What is the limitation of this particular method? Any limitation?
Pressure cannot be.
Yeah, pressure cannot be. Okay, so let us consider that we are only interested in finding out the solution. So it is making us to find out the solution, and even instead of 3 equations, it is resulting in only 2 equations, and in the only a single equation, and in this single equation also now unknown parameters are only psi and omega. Okay, so in some sense it is making our solution process easy. But what is the biggest limitation of this method? So if you see, the fundamental basis of this method is applicable on stream function, and stream function is only valid for 2-dimensional flow situations. Is this point clear? So it means this method cannot be extended for 3D situations. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the biggest drawback of stream and vorticity function is that it will not be giving you directly the pressure field. So obviously, in some sense, though it is making your numerical process easy, because now you have to only find out 2 parameters and then solve only a single equation. But if you are really interested in finding out the value of pressure, then you have to do some additional calculations, and then these additional calculations will also take some of your time. Okay, so they are also like computation.
Sir, this method can also not be used in irrotational flows.
Yes.
I think.
No, irrotational flow, it can be used. It can be used. So there, what will be irrotational comes mainly close to the boundary. Okay, so within the domain there will be some sort of rotation, but close to the boundary there will be irrotation. So that will be taken care of by boundary conditions. Okay, but yeah, if you are having completely or purely rotational flow, there it will not be applicable once again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so what we have to do, considering these limitations of this method, now we will try to go for the approach which is more generic, and where actually we can go for the detailed solution of complex 3-dimensional situations. Okay, so in this approach, what we will be doing, we will be using one of the very popular algorithm. That particular algorithm is actually based on some iterative procedure. Okay, so the name of the algorithm is SIMPLE, SIMPLE. So those of you who are already using any of the commercial or open source CFD packages, you might be aware of this particular method, SIMPLE. So this SIMPLE is semi-implicit method for pressure linked equations. Okay, so SIMPLE is nothing but a semi-implicit method for pressure linked equations. This method is proposed by Patankar and Spedding in 1972. Okay, so they have proposed this method in 1972, and this particular method is actually based on the iterative procedure. Okay, so this method is based on iterative procedure. So here they will be providing some approximation in between pressure and velocity, some coupling between pressure and velocity, and once you substitute that coupling in between pressure and velocity into your continuity equation, your continuity equation turns out to be nothing but your pressure equation. Okay, so here you are having some coupling. You are having some coupling between pressure and velocity, and what this coupling does, if you substitute this particular relation into your continuity equation, so if you substitute this into the continuity equation, your continuity equation will be transforming into some equation, and that particular equation we call as nothing but our pressure equation. Okay, and that will be helping us in finding out the value of pressure. So how this detailed algorithm works, that is something which we will be able to see in our subsequent lectures. But before that, it is also very important to consider that what kind of grid we have to employ for estimation of the pressure gradients. Okay, because the presence of pressure gradients for some of the situations lead to unrealistic results when we are considering our common grid which we have actually used earlier. Okay, so if I give you just two-dimensional representation, so what we were doing earlier, we were actually dividing our domain into number of control volumes. Okay, so while we have found the solution for the scalar transport by convection diffusion, so we have divided our domain into number of control volumes, and you have seen that the centroid of the control volume was considered as our nodal point where value of phi was stored, and phi was nothing but our some scalar parameter, and the vector field v or the velocity field we were considering that it is actually priorly known. Okay, so now comes the idea that whether to store velocity field also at this point only, say u variable also, do I calculate at point u only, or do I calculate u or say v variable, so complete velocity vector, do I estimate it some other point? Okay, so this particular thing, like where to estimate the value of scalars and where to estimate the values of vectors, and if we are measuring or all the scalars and vectors at the same nodal point, then what will be happening to our solution? So these are some of the challenges which we have to understand before going into the solution of the Navier-Stokes equations. Okay, so there is one popular problem in case of the common grid which we are using for our scalar transport equation. So if we continue storing the value of other field variables also, if we calculate the values of other field variables also at the same grid point, then it will be leading to some difficulties, some unrealistic situations into our solution. What are these? That now I will stop at this point. Probably this room seems to be booked for something else. So now I'll stop at this point, and then we will discuss further in our next lecture. Okay, so if you are having any questions that we can discuss.